simps. We talk about Shoe0nhead a little bit and her journey to the left and how nice it is to have a big YouTube channel finally be trending left a little bit. Shoe0nhead is not a communist. Shoe0nhead is not a leftist. Shoe0nhead is a sockdem, which means that she's like for free healthcare and student loan forgiveness and universal childcare, things like that. Just, the good, things that like modern good countries have, things like that. But the right, they're molding. Sargon of Akkad is using his burner account like, hey Shoe, remember when we were like super based and everything, hating on the SJWs? Would you like to come back, please? And it's really weird. And like making video after video after video about how Shoe is like hanging out with not white supremacists anymore, how Shoe0nhead's friends are not white supremacists anymore. It's crazy how they're talking about how Shoe now has friends who are like communists and socialists, when before she had friends that were white nationalists and white genocide believers and like not QAnon, because QAnon wasn't like real back in the day. And like JQ believers, like those people, those were her friends back in the day. And now she's talking to like commies and socialists. And now they're like crazy. They're like, everything's falling apart. Shoe's brain is being rotted from the inside out with commie cum. She's been sucking commie cum out of commie cock, and now she's just going crazy. The Shoe derangement syndrome is crazy, and Shoe has the worst simps. And right now, here's one of them. Here's a Shoe simp right here. He looks like Your Movie Sucks younger brother. He is, I have no clue who he is. He's not a very big YouTuber, is he? Artemisia Sig, something like that. I'm going to call him Artemis because I like the goddess Artemis, and it's a better name. We're going to rename him, okay? And don't tell me that that's not your name, okay? Because I will not be dragged down by your cultural Marxism word prison by you telling me what words to use, okay? You look like an Artemis, so I'm going to keep calling you Artemis, all right?
So I want to talk a little bit about Shoe0nhead and this really unbelievably stupid comment she's posted. I'm a big Shoe0nhead fan, and this really sucks.
I'm a big Shoe0nhead fan, and this really grinds my gears. What is this up here? Boruto episode 31. Okay. Free download paper. Buffy the Vampire Slayer Black Ops 4 vegan activist story. What is this? Christine Blasey Ford. Why does he have so many Boruto? Okay.
To see her go to this level. She links to this article, doesn't even open it or read it, and is like, imagine still believing Trump is some anti-authoritarian free speech 400 IQ God Emperor. Couldn't be me. And she also says down below, I don't know all of the comments she said, but she's like, anyone defending the unlimited power of the military being unleashed on America's citizens, just unfollow me now. You're past the point of bootlicking. It's full deep throat. But
no, that's true. Let me show you what this looks like. This is the people. These are the people who are like, wait, can I pull this up? Open in These are the people who are like, ah, yes, Donald Trump releasing the unlimited power of the of the military on protesters. Just go into town on these boots. Go into Olive Garden with these boots. Go making a 3-course meal out of these boots. Just chomping them. This is beyond bootlicking. This is incredible amount of destruction of civil rights in this country. Look at this dude's face. He's pulling his best Tucker Carlson impression on this one.
Then what's the article actually say that she shares? President Trump condemned out-of-state protesters who are inciting violence. Are you serious, Shoe?
Wait, what changes here? I'm unironically curious what changes here. What President Trump condemns out-of-state protesters who are inciting violence in protest in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and threatened to unleash the unlimited power of the military. So what changes here? I'm genuinely curious. What did she say? What did she write? Please tell me. Refresh my memory.
Even open it.
Imagine still believing Trump is some anti-authoritarian free speech 400 IQ god emperor. Couldn't be me. Anybody defending unlimited use of the unlimited power of the military being unleashed on American citizens, just unfollow me. So what changes here? I'm genuinely curious. So she says that Trump says he's going to unleash the unlimited power of the military on protesters. And then Trump says he's going to unleash the unlimited power of the military on protesters. But he's like, but the protesters are out of state and they're really mean. Like, okay. Also, he has Minecraft open. He has Skype, Minecraft, and Discord open. Holy crap. Close a couple tabs, my dude.
I am so unbelievably disappointed in you.
You know how mad he was? He was like looking up something to watch while he was like building, while he was asking his Minecraft girlfriend if he could put his bed next to hers. And then he scrolled past Twitter while he was looking for new, I don't know, like anti-socialist bops to listen to. And then he scrolled past a shoe tweet, and he was like, "How could this happen? How could the great shoe fall so far from grace?"
Oh, these are free speech Americans. Although Trump specifically said free speech Americans, didn't he? He said protesters, didn't he? Oh, wait, no. No, he said violent protesters?
How do you differentiate an out-of-state protester who's inciting violence and ones that aren't? Like the federal troops, the stormtroopers that he sent in to Portland were going against all protesters. They were, for one, acting far outside the jurisdiction of the federal buildings that they were sent to protect, and two, that they were gassing and rubber bulleting in the face protesters. Like, what are you talking about? This is crazy. What are you talking about, dude? Like, Trump is not helping anybody. He's exacerbating the problem. Those federal troops weren't working with local police force, weren't working with the local police department. They were attacking peaceful protesters. The people like moms had to come out to help protect some of the protesters. Like, I don't know what you're talking, like the wall of moms, the wall of dads, the wall of vets, and they were even attacking them. Like, what are you talking about? Trump is what? He's looking to unleash the unlimited power of the military on American citizens. That's what he's trying to do.
Unbelievable. Shoe0nhead, come on. Are you out of your mind? Did spending time with Vosh really turn you into an SJW?
This is perfectly nothing that she said he was wrong. It is factually correct that he wants to unleash the unlimited power of the military on American citizens. This is just true. This does not go against anything that he says. He wants to try and split hairs and say, well, he's only targeting violent protesters, maybe. Like, okay, you can say that. Those are still American citizens. Yeah, those are still American citizens. Let's throw acid. You mean the drug? You mean give Antifa drugs? Listen, all right? I've helped my local Antifa chapter. I'm using my laptop right now to read a bunch of comments. I have an Antifa sticker on there. It's they're pretty cool. I like them. I like my local Antifa group. They're pretty chill people. I don't have black bloc or anything, but they're fine.
Kind of SJW that doesn't even look into shit before you open your mouth? Geez, I know I'm being really harsh right now, but the first sentence in this article you linked
for no reason
was specifically that. And he wants to unleash the unlimited power of the military. And he should. Against it.
So, when we say that the right are fascists, listen, the American military should not be on U.S. soil trying to enforce U.S. law. It is illegal, for one, for any of the military to do law enforcement. The military cannot do law enforcement. Military personnel cannot arrest you. They are not police. They cannot charge you with a crime. They cannot they won't read you your Miranda rights. They cannot arrest you and take you to the local jail. They can't do that. They're not police. They can't do police work. All they can do is fire munitions at you. That's it. That's all they're going to do. Federal troops can't do that. They can arrest you for federal crimes, but they have to have a specific warrant, and they have to work with the police department in specific capacity to even enforce state law. That for most of the time they can't even enforce state law, let alone any law. They can do federal law in some specific circumstances, but like, what does that mean? Does he mean, is my man thinking he's going to, we do need to think about that. Is he talking about we need to like drone strike like protest blocks? What are you talking about? That's true. Trump does want to bring the troops back home. He wants to bring the troops back home and then turn cities into Afghanistan. That's what he really wants to do. Stop the drone strikes in Yemen. Start the drone strikes in Chicago. That's my president right there. That's my boy. And he just supports it. What are you talking? You could have just started with, I don't like Shoe's opinion. I believe Trump should release the unlimited power of the military on protesters, instead of say that he didn't say that, and then say that he did say that, and then say that you agree with it. What is this line of reasoning? This is horrible line of reasoning. He could have just started by saying that he agrees with what Trump said, and he said it. Okay. Let's listen.
Anybody committing violence. If you're seriously on the left, Shoe, you should condemn people being violent. What kind of garbage was that?
What do you mean being violent? Our whole system is predicated on violence. What do you mean being violent? I don't know what you mean. I genuinely don't know being violent. What's violence? Violence means a massive amount of things to a lot of people. For me, my definition of violence is extremely broad, and we just care about some forms of violence and not others. I don't know. I'm genuinely curious what violence means to this person. Like, I mean, if he's talking about torching cars and smashing up mom and pop shops, yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't think anybody agrees with that. Except for the people looting those shops. And I highly doubt they're looting them in the name of like George Floyd or Breonna Taylor. They're probably looting it because they want the money in there, and that's it. And they're using the protest as a reason to be able to do it. And that's bad, and that should all stop, and we should condemn that. I don't know, just doing damage to federal buildings. I couldn't care less. I genuinely couldn't care less.
I'm so freaking frustrated right now to see a fellow YouTuber with so much more reach than I could ever hope to have sit there and actually, and I don't know if it was on purpose, but accidentally at the very...
I called him fat at the beginning of the video. He's not fat. He just has a chunky face. He just has a lot of baby fat in his face. He's not actually... I revoke my insult, and I'll say he's not fat. And he just has a chubby face. Which, I mean, I have a chubby face too. I got some baby fat. It's okay, buddy. We all got a little baby fat. That's okay. Some girls think it's cute. I'm not sure if you're straight or anything, and I'm not sure if you identify as a guy. I would assume so, but with that being said, it's okay. Don't be mad. We're all a little chunky. We all a little bit chunky, just a little bit. I know you guys in chat who are listening, you got a little bit of chunk. You can look down. You can see a little bit of chunk on you. That's fine. You're beautiful. Okay. Don't feel bad.
very least, I'll give her some benefit of the doubt. Accidentally not condemn violence. Unbelievable.
You can condemn violence and not unleash the unlimited power of the U.S. military onto American citizens in the middle of the street. These are two completely different things. I can say, hey, smashing up mom and pop shops is bad, and hey, we don't need the Marines to come down and start murking protesters in the street. These are not the same thing. These are not the same thing. They're not. But in these guys' heads, they are. It has to be.
Crossing state lines to incite violence is a federal crime is exactly what Trump tweeted out, and you're saying that's against free speech. Unbelievable. I'm trying so hard not to drop so many inappropriate words right now.
What are you gonna say? You gonna start using some anti-woman slurs? He's holding it back. He wants to say the N-word. He really wants to say the N-word. Dog, if people are crossing state lines and committing acts of violence, just arrest them with the normal police. And if states aren't doing it, well, I mean, that's states' rights. I mean, I don't know. What's the president supposed to do? I mean, what happened to the states' rights people? They're real quiet once things don't go their way. I mean, if the local governments can't take hold of it, then I mean, then they'll ask for some help. But if they can and they don't want your help, well, what are you gonna say? I mean, that's not your fault. What happened to states' rights? What happened to states' rights? Yeah, he really wants to call Shoe the N-word. He probably is going to call Shoe the... Look, he's smiling. He's giggling right now. He's giggling. He wants to say it. Just say it. Go ahead.
Pissed off, you know? Liberal governors and mayors must get much together on the federal government, or the federal government will step in and do what has to be done. And that includes using the unlimited power of our military and many arrests, Trump tweeted.
Crossing state lines to incite violence is a federal crime. Liberal governors and mayors must get much tougher on the federal government will step in and do what has to be done. And that includes using the unlimited power of our military and many arrests. Yeah, no, that's horrible. What happened to states' rights? What happened to smaller government? Like, as soon as things aren't going their way, he's like, yes, the president should be able to roll out A1 Abram tanks through the middle of the street and, I don't know, blow up groups of protesters as they walk by. What are you talking about? He wants these people. They're so mad. They want to send people to Gitmo. They want to send protesters to Gitmo, dude. I'm telling you, they're insane. I'm anti-Trump. Orange Man is indeed bad.
He is 1,000% correct, Shoe. And maybe you should actually take context into consideration before tweeting out SJW rhetoric.
So now it's context and not he didn't say it. Okay, sick. All right. I love how the further this goes on, the crazier it gets. Biden has condemned it. He's condemned it several times. Biden's actually been doing a fair amount of interviews. He had like 2 interviews over the last over the weekend, I think, on CNN and MSNBC. Just nobody talks about Biden's interviews because he's so unimpressive. But like every time Trump like trips, it's like national news. He's condemned it several times. Just people just don't care what Biden has to say. Like, if I'm going to be completely frank, just people just don't care what Biden has to say. And Trump is far more entertaining to watch. That's the real reason.
Unbelievable how absolutely stupid that take was. Okay? Just to get more into it. And yeah, why did they quote it and then put the tweet right down here below? Okay.
I mean, they're not the exact same thing, but okay.
Really weird. The threat comes as protests across the country demonstrating against George Floyd's killing turned violent.
Yeah, these guys are stuck in 2015. They're stuck. They cannot evolve. They've stuck in they've gotten lost in the pupa stage.
And this is not about George Floyd anymore. George Floyd had a YouTube channel. He made it very, very specific that people should not be violent. People should be working and doing everything they can help, especially in his own communities. He was a very good man, it seems. He had...
George Floyd... I don't know, like the right-wing rhetoric on George Floyd goes like 2 different ways. It's like, he was a criminal thug and he starred in a porn. And he had a YouTube channel and he was a good guy and he would have denounced this stuff. I don't know. Like, what? Okay. I mean, cool if he did. Who's advocating for violence out there? But besides the people doing the violence, like who? I'm genuinely curious. Who?
Some trouble in the past, and he ended up using that trouble in the past to fuel his future, to explain to people, I did bad, and here's how you can learn from it and move forward. It's a damn shame that he was taken.
Was George Floyd a time traveler? Maybe this is the new right-wing rhetoric. They're going to be like, George Floyd was good, actually, and he wouldn't have... Oh my gosh, they're going to MLK. They're going to MLK George Floyd. I just realized this. They're going to MLK George Floyd. They're going to be like, MLK wouldn't want to see what's going on now. MLK would have been a Republican now. And they're going to be like, MLK would have been George Floyd would have been a Republican if he saw what was going on. Just big, massive, like Sheen from Jimmy Neutron, Giga Brain take. Just...
It's a damn shame he was taken from us.
Look at this rhetoric.
The officer deserved to be arrested.
Cringe, dude.
He was arrested. Officer deserved to be fired. He was fired. Somehow that's not good enough for people. Justice isn't good enough anymore. They want to riot. Everything was done correctly.
Listen, happy societies don't riot. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to condone any violence. You shouldn't be kicking in the doors of like mom and pop shops. But happy societies don't riot. There aren't like a bunch of riots going on in Sweden right now or anything. I wonder why. I mean, There are like even some countries that are even worse off that are having like a bunch of these riots right now. I mean, just happy societies don't riot. Even MLK understood this, even though he didn't condone the riots. He was like, yeah, we understand the riots. Yeah, Sweden is like, Sweden's trying to save some money on healthcare, so they decided to kill off all their old people. But you know, they're vibing. They're vibing.
Handle that officer that committed wrong. He committed murder. We don't protest like this when a normal person commits murder. We do the
A normal person? What's there to protest? Wait, stop. I can't listen to this, dude. What's there to protest? This is like the people who were like, BLM gets really mad about cops killing people and the system putting people in jail for the rest of their life. But when are they going to get mad about gangs? When are we going to protest gangs? And when are we going to protest random acts of violence? And when are we going to protest robbery? Do you not see the difference between these two things? Like, a police officer is a part of a system meant to help the community, and a random thug is a random criminal. Like, what? Like, I genuinely don't understand what this talking point is. Anybody using this talking point shows a fundamental lack of understanding in why people would ever like get mad about these sorts of situations. It shows they're divorced from any understanding of people who are actually out there getting mad about these sorts of issues. They have no clue what's going on. They're out of the loop. They're dried up. They're dried up on the beaches of stupidity, and they're just bacon. They're bacon, belly up bacon.
the same to them. What do we need to do? Lynch the officer in the street? That'd be very anti-American at this point. That's what.
Well, maybe not, because Trump's gonna send in the unlimited power of the United States military. I don't know. Trump's gonna, drone strike Chicago. So I don't know. Maybe that isn't too bad. I don't know. Who knows?
America has come down to.
Maybe it isn't that un-American.
We used to do that to people. Now we don't. We treat everyone equal in the judicial system. Nobody's above anybody. That's equality. And then we have people who claim to be for equality protesting and rioting in the streets, destroying small businesses.
Wait, protesting and rioting in the streets? Wait, now are you against? Are you? Did you misspeak? Or are you just against protesting too? Wait, I need to hear that again. Also, my thing's moving so slow today.
Nobody's above anybody. That's equality. And
wait, what?
That's what America has come down to. We used to do that to people. Now we don't. We treat everyone equal in the judicial system.
Oh, so he's so he doesn't believe in systemic racism either. Okay. So now I'm starting to get like a good understanding of where this guy's coming from. Like when these people start to talk about their worldview, you can really start to pull together the string, because when you just hear it on its face, you're like, why are you so stupid? But as they keep talking, you really start to understand what these people like mean. So he can be mad about this because here's what he believes. George Floyd's death and like all these other deaths from these like marginalized groups of people are isolated incidents that people are stringing together to make it way bigger than it actually is. And now all this violence, all of it is completely unjustified. The protesting is unjustified. The rioting is unjustified. And that's why he can't see the difference between a death of like Breonna Taylor or George Floyd or anybody else who's killed by the judicial system. That's why he can't see, probably, I would even imagine, the deaths of the deaths and the lost children from ICE and stuff like that. He can't see that as any different than a random murder on the street. He cannot. He feels like there's no difference between these two things. And how I say that there's no reason to protest over some random like domestic abuse, like killing or something. There's no systemic thing there. Maybe there is, but maybe that's like, I don't know, like poverty or some other thing, or like gerrymandering or redlining or something along those lines. That'd be another thing, but it wouldn't be directly the death. That would be the thing. It'd be like a byproduct of another system. That's why he can't understand it, because he's looking at, I don't know, someone getting killed in a drunk driving accident as someone being executed by a member of the police force. You know, he sees these things as completely the same. And that's why he can justify Trump going in like dropping live troops into the streets of Portland because he feels like all of this uprising just means nothing. These people have no clue what they're talking about. And that's where this all comes together. That I can see it now. I can see clearly now. He's just stupid.
Nobody's above anybody. That's equality. And then we have people who claim to be for equality protesting and rioting in the streets. Destroying small businesses, not even doing anything to harm any kind of corporation. You think you're harming Target. What you're doing is you're making it to where the people can't get groceries. And the people that worked for Target lost their jobs. You just hurt a whole bunch of lower class citizens. That's all you did.
I mean, the people who probably raided that store are probably lower class citizens themselves. But again, I'm not supporting any rioting. There's no point to be rioting against some like random store or even a Target. I mean, in this context,
burning down small businesses. It's ridiculous. Shoe, I am so disappointed in your take on this. Let's see.
Why is he going all... It's so creepy to see him, disappointed dad. I'm so disappointed in you, little miss. I can't believe you've done this, young lady. I expected more from you, young little girl. It's so weird, the language that they use. It's so patronizing. It's so weird. And I bet he'd be like, I don't know. I feel like he'd be the type of dude to like talk about like the armored skeptic type thing. It's so weird. Like how they talk to her like she's a child and she doesn't have her own personal beliefs. It's really weird.
See more of your really, really inappropriate comments on this. I commented, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll get a response from her at all.
No, he's just scrolling through his own...
Yeah. Whoops.
Wait, what? Okay.
At all. And then I'm arguing with this idiot about sections. Yeah.
Politics too hard for little girl brain to understand. Then they give her head pats. They give her a couple head pats. It's okay. Go back to your boyfriend. He'll take care of you. You're like, I don't know. They just think that she's too stupid. Women cannot, their brains are too full of charged phone, eat hot chip, and twerk to be able to comprehend the multifaceted system that is American politics. They're just not built for it. It's genetics. I'm sorry.